Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badaraganam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtage Namaha Gukarastvandhakaro Vai Rukarastanivartakaha Andhakara nirodhitvat Gururitya bhidhiyate Om Sahana Vavatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yato vacho nivartante Apraapya manasa saha Anandam Brahmano Vidvan Na bibheti kutascha neti Etagam havavana tapati Kimaham sadhuna karavam Kimaham papamakaravamiti Because the assimilation of this knowledge that one is without a second, that one is, one's nature is the nature of Ishvara, is dependent upon a new means of knowledge, because the nature of the subject matter is such. The subject matter is that which cannot be caught, which cannot be held, which cannot be looked at, in short, which is not available for any means of knowledge whatsoever. Any means of knowledge that we operate. Mask, my dear, yeah. Any means of knowledge that we operate, it is not available. So therefore we have to go in search of another means of knowledge. If it was available for the means of knowledge, then this would not have been an issue at all. But it is not. But when we say the Atma is not available for a means of knowledge, we have to be very, very clear what we are saying. The Atma is already self-evident. Does it need a means of knowledge? Thank you. So, finally we can move on. Why does it not need a means of knowledge? Because even though the spuranam, meaning the little, what should I say, flicker of awareness is a little slow, but still suddenly the light dawns. I don't need a means of knowledge to reveal myself. I'm already evident. So, a pramana, a means of knowledge, it is important when the vastu, the thing to be revealed, is not self-evident. then only the pramana becomes important. Like even this part. Even if you have eyes and you're sitting in the last bench, it is still hard to see, okay? Even with a correct pramana, it is difficult to see. But nonetheless, here we have this pot. It does not declare itself. Ghatoham. Ghatoham means I am a pot. It is not self-declaratory. It's not saying, look at me, I am a pot. But you can say that. I am. Ahamasmi. Sadabhami. And I'm always here. And I always shine as I. So, in contrast, the pot is what we call pramana siddha vastu, an object that is established by a means of knowledge. Supposing there is somebody that cannot see and you make this noise, they'll say, oh, it looks like some kind of a noise of clay. Somehow. So, a means of knowledge is necessary when the object is not self-evident. Only when the object is not self-evident. When the object is self-evident, why do you need a means of knowledge? It's like saying that I know I am, I know I exist, but I'm going to ask the significant other just in case. Am I existent? Not necessary. It is redundant. Yet the whole Vedanta Shastra keeps talking about pramana, 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 pramana till we are sick. And we say, what is this pramana? We don't need the pramana. I is self-evident. So shall we just say bye-bye to what is called Shabda Pramana? Shabda Pramana means words in the form of the Shastra. No, not so quick, not so fast. Why? Because what the Shastra Pramana is doing, it's not revealing the I. Why? Because the I is self-revealed. In fact, the presence of the I reveals the Shastra in a way, reveals the names of all the Shastras. This is Kathopanishad, this is Kenopanishad, this is Taittiriya Upanishad. I am the one who is saying. It's a very interesting and a subtle paradox, but it has to be, it's very important to understand. So the I does not need a pramana to reveal itself because it is self-revealing. Self-evident, self-effulgent, all these are synonyms. Self-revealing, self-effulgent, self-evident, everything. But then, what is it that the pramana does? What is it that the Shastra does? It does not reveal the I, it reveals the nature of the I as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Sat, Chit, Ananda, ever existent, never changing, all knowledge, limitless I. That is what the contribution of the pramana is. And this is very important to know, otherwise this confusion will be there. I know I exist, why do I need the pramana? You need the pramana because even though the I is existent, you don't know what the nature of this I is, and there is no way of intuiting it, inferring it, deducing it, inducing it, because we are talking of the nature of the inferer, we are talking of the nature of the deducer, we are talking of the nature of the one who is making all kinds of conclusions. That is the one. And so one thing becomes very clear. That the pramana reveals not the existence of the I, but the nature of the I as whole, limitless, free of guilt, hurt, sorrow, etc. Totally. That is how it operates. Then we also saw yesterday that the pramana is not self-operative. It needs somebody to push the button. And why? Because that's how it is. Pramana is always live. It's dynamic. It's live. That's why when you read the Upanishad, it's not going to do anything. Layers of distrust have built a wall on the calloused heart. Around the calloused heart there is a big wall. Every disappointment is a brick. And every disillusionment is the concrete in between two bricks. See, I was right. See, I know everybody I can't trust. Nobody I can trust. That is the concrete. See, I told me so. I told you so, but I told myself also not to trust, not to do this, not to do that. And then so the person is what Pujya Swamiji often called a ninja. Defensive, offensive. Finding out new weaponry to be able to just throw at the world, at large, and at people who one perceives is inimical to oneself in particular. Very, very fascinating, all this is. And so what happens? What happens is something which is very interesting, because here is the person who does not trust at all, but understands. Little bit self-awareness is there. Some punya from the purva janma, from previous life is operating over time, and the person understands something. And what does the person understand? The person says, yes, I have this problem with distrust. Yes, I suffer from self-ignorance. When you know that one suffers from ignorance, self-ignorance, then it is not fun. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance of ignorance is bliss. If you don't know you are ignorant, that is what is meant by ignorance is bliss. You should not only be ignorant, but you should be ignorant of the fact that you are ignorant, and then there is ananda. But the moment you know, I am ignorant, then you cannot rest until you find out what is it that you are ignorant of. And this is just even in the circle of your friends. You can't think of the name of an actor or a movie or something that is trending. Immediately you're just so fed up with yourself. I mean, I remember it. Oh, thank God there is a smartphone. Smartphone means I have transferred my smartness onto the phone. Nobody has to remember anything these days. It's a travesty. I asked somebody, please give your phone number. And she couldn't remember it. She said, I have to look in the phone. I have to look in the phone for my number. So like this, the way in which the pramana operates has to be understood. Because that I don't know, when I come to know, then that is intolerable. That's what sends me packing to the halls of some kind of ashram, gurukulam, etc., etc. Here too, in the choice of the place of learning, one's own subjectivity can operate. Somebody who came from a chaotic background, everybody arguing all the time, will be attracted, could be attracted to, not to a Vedanta ashram, where there's a lot of talk going on, but to a place where everybody keeps silent. And that could be very, very attractive. But that's not the antidote. Because the knowledge is in the form of words. But Dakshinamurti. Maunavyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. That's how the dhyana shloka starts. Maunavyakhya, whose speech is silence. And who didn't say anything? Who was keeping quiet all the time? And yet, he taught in silence. Why do I have to come year after year and listen to you? I just have to find somebody to sit with in silence, or I can even sit by myself in silence and I can get this knowledge. Why do I need you? Fair enough, the question is fair. To this we say that two things. One is, he did communicate. It's not that he was sitting in silence. Communication is through language. And the language can be a language that is what? A spoken language, or what other kinds of languages are there? Sign language, yeah. We have ASL, American Sign Language. Supposing there is a room full of people who cannot hear, deaf people, deaf from birth, and all they know is this language, and there is a sign language interpreter, you'll think nothing is going on, it'll all be quiet, but actually a lot is going on. Lord Dakshinamurti did use words, but the words were in the form of a sign language. Not ASL, VSL, Vedantic Sign Language, called the Chin Mudra. Has nothing to do with the chin, okay? Yeah, it is Chit Mudra. I have to say all these things because I encounter people who say, if it is Chin Mudra, why is he keeping it here and not here? It should be by the chin. It is Chit plus Mudra. Chit means Atma. Jnana Mudra. A sign language of knowledge. Chitram vatataror mule vriddha shishya gurur yuva gurosthu maunam vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshayah. So, picture this, says this particular dhyana shloka. Chitram, picture this. Picture this idyllic vision. There is a banyan tree, and at the foot of the banyan tree, a young entity sits, surrounded by elderly students, flowing white beards in this case, and all of them elderly. Vriddhaha shishyaha guruhu yuva. Guru is young, and then the shishya is what? The shishyas are elderly. The guru doesn't speak, but the speech is in the form of in the form of silent teaching, and then the shishyas are all free of doubts, free of despair, and are totally free. This is the picture. So it's not that the teaching is not taking place. Teaching is taking place. What kind of teaching? And the same teaching that is being given through words is the same thing that is being translated into sign language. Why sign language? Did the sages sitting at the feet of Lord Dakshinamurti, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara, you'll see in the morning puja, these 4 sages. Don't ask me which is which. Pick anyone to be anybody. They are very obliging. So, the Shishyas are elderly to show that they are, quote unquote, in common parlance, old souls. Meaning, they have had many lifetimes. One lifetime gone, achieved nothing. Another lifetime gone. Third lifetime, jellyfish. Transparency issues. Fourth lifetime, very important CEO of a major company. And then the person prayed, I want a stress-free life. Oh Lord, what are you doing to me? I can't even have a holiday without the phone ringing. Tathastu. Next lifetime, water buffalo on the streets of India. National Highway 5, Delhi, going from Delhi to Rishikesh. Even now, there is a traffic jam. A group of buffaloes decided to take rest in the middle of the highway. Nothing dislodges them. Swayam, stress-free. Themselves, stress-free. Anyan, stressayati. They cause stress to others. And people go. One of them went with a tire iron from the back of his car, using that as a goad. Goaded the fellow this way. He went like this. And then goaded the fellow that way, like this. Didn't get up. So many lifetimes these sages have experienced before they got to the place of preparation where just a sign from the Lord is enough to do ajnana nirasanam, to remove the self-ignorance. It's just so beautiful. That elderly nature of the sadhus, the sages sitting under the feet of the Lord, at the feet of the Lord, shows their emotional maturity, spiritual growth, inner preparation, the dropping of the ragadveshas, the upping of the shraddha, the building of the trust, the readiness to trust, the readiness to surrender to this knowledge, and knowing that this is the only way, is what makes the Guru-Shishya relationship successful. Otherwise, it is just, hide and seek. Sometimes the Shishya comes out, makes an appearance, and then goes and hides again. This does not work. There has to be a committed and a consistent exposure to understand the meaning of this mantra. Not kabhi kabhi mere dil mein Vedant ka khayal aata hai. This will not go. Some old film song, Once in a while I just think of Vedanta. Doesn't work. Does not work. Why? Because the weight of the habitual orientations, the patterns of associating and identifying with the body, with the mind, with the senses, with one's doership. These are all various areas or loci of error. Locus, loci, plural. Various places where the errors are made. And they have to be slowly removed. And then only one can understand this knowledge. That's why the centrality of the Shastra and an even bigger centrality of the Guru who unfolds the Shastra. That's why every Upanishad is in the form of a dialogue between the teacher and the student. Sometimes they are named. The teacher is named. Pippaladaha. Pippala means berries. So Pippalani, Atti, the one who keeps eating, who lives off of berries, basically. Pippaladaha. That is the name of the teacher in the Prashna Upanishad. What is the name of the teacher in the Kathopanishad? Yamaraja, Lord Yama. So sometimes the teachers are named. Sometimes the teachers are unnamed. Like in the Kena Upanishad, you don't know the name of the teacher, you don't know the name of the students, but there is an interaction. The teacher gives a Vedanta quiz. That's how I learned to ask questions. Teacher gives a Vedanta quiz in the middle of the class. And that's how we know that there is a presence of the teacher. And some people answer wrongly. And that's how we know that there is the presence of students. Sometimes, like in our current Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is no idea of teachers or students. The knowledge just starts. Brahma-avidyā āpnoti param. It just starts. And you wonder where this is going, who is the teacher? You forget that this is a teacher-student situation until there is a question. Aho vidvan amullokam pretya kaschana gacchati. Uta vidvan amulloka pretya kaschit samashnuta. This is a question. These are two questions that is asked. Just like the question in the satsang yesterday, what does the vidwan look like? How does the vidwan behave? Similar question comes here in this Upanishad. A student asks, after the vidwan drops his or her body, where does he or she go? Very, very nice. That's how we know that there is actually a dialogue going on. This is not a belief-based tradition. You are moksha incarnate. Thank you. Thank you, Swami. No. Whatever you say. This is madness. This is something to see for yourself. Just like the student, a second grader, 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Sure. Sure, teacher, I trust you. I have total shraddha. Doesn't work. They have to work it out for themselves. This too is a mathematical equation. Just like an equation. Because what is being equated has apparent differences informed by an underlying identity. And that underlying identity is what is discovered, what is communicated through the operation of the means of knowledge by the teacher. This is what is happening in the teaching situation. That's why reading the sentence Tattvamasi is very different from having that be unfolded. Very, very different. Reading it, whatever, I don't understand this, I'll never understand this. And so therefore, the teacher is the guide to the Upanishad. Because the teacher is not really bringing out their own ideas. There's nothing to own here, and there is everything to own here. It's a very interesting thing. There's nothing to own because it's all been there, done that. We have a 5,000-year-old history of hermeneutics. Hermeneutics means analysis of the Veda and Vedanta. Every word, every syllable, every particle has been analyzed to the hilt, completely. And the proper meaning, according to the tradition, ascertained. There's nothing new. Yet everything is new all the time. Ascharyo vakta, ascharyo jnata, kushala anushishtaha. Kathopanishad says that the teacher is in a state of wonder, even though they may have taught the same Upanishad many, many times. Each time it's different, it's new. It is tailored to whoever needs whatever it is that they need. That's why people go away from the class thinking, this must have been just for me. It's not an accident. That is exactly the purpose of what we call the live transmission of knowledge. The words of the teacher unfolding the mantras is just acknowledging the Ishvara within you. The words of the teacher are like a flower that goes and breaks down this calloused brick wall around the heart. A little flower, revealing that I who is unfettered by distrust, unmoved by guilt, hurt, etc. This is why the centrality of the teacher is very, very important. Otherwise, what is called the Mahavakya cannot be understood, because the subject matter of the Mahavakya is not something that is subject to objectification. It's not an object, so it cannot be understood. And this is what is meant by how the mind and the speech quieten down in reverence in front. When confronted by this knowledge, they have nothing to say. And what is this knowledge? In the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is no introduction at all. Immediately, the second chapter begins with the Mahavakya. Om Brahma-vidā āpnoti param. Tadeshabhyukta satyam jnanamanantam brahma satyam jnanamanantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman so oshnute sarvan kamaan saha brahmana vipaschiteti. Yes, this is short, one paragraph, 4-5 lines. But those who are studying right now, the Chandogya Bhashya, online, we have this going on. They know that it took 50 classes to unfold this much. Oh, 15? No, 50. It's so packed. It's completely packed. First, there is a little bit of a carrot on a string, something to grab, oh, this sounds wonderful. First, there is an advertisement. Just like when you see one advertisement, use this product, all wrinkles gone. In 1 week, all wrinkles gone. Oh, then there is a akanksha created in the heart. What is this product? Where do I get it? Naturally. So first there is a declaration. Brahmavit, the knower of Brahman, apnoti, gains param, the absolute, the ultimate, gaining which all the desire to gain anything whatsoever is dropped. That is the gain. Oh ho ho. I want to buy Brahman. Where is Brahman? Where is Brahman? I want Brahman. And then, apnoti param. What is kim tad Brahma? What is this Brahman? I want to know, because if I have to know Brahman, I want to know what it is. And this Brahman is defined by 3 words. Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. 3 words. We'll see what they are. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And then the Upanishad says, Yaha Veda, the one who knows, not as an object, Nihitam Guhayam. Now the location of this Brahman is revealed. That which is in a cave. Oh, what kind of a cave? The word Guha is used to show the cave of the heart. Cave of the head, cave of the heart, meaning that the heart is likened to a cave. Why? Because there is, even though Bhagavan is sitting right there, that Bhagavan, that Ishvara is not illumined. Is not illumined. Why? Because of ātma-avidyā. That Bhagavan is sitting in darkness, tamas, self-ignorance, covered by, as it were, nothing can cover the luminous, self-luminous Bhagavan, but as though covered by self-ignorance, like even the sun is as though covered by an eclipse. Rahugrastha divakarendu sadrusho maya samachhadanat sanmatrah karanopasamharanato yo bhut sushuptah puman. This is what we, one verse of the Dakshinamurti Stotram we hear in the temple every day. Rahugrastha divakara indu sadrishaha. Like even the sun or a moon, like luminous bodies, caught by the shadow. Caught by the shadow called Rahu, the eclipse. The eclipse is personified into a shadow planet called Rahu, who is all head. This gives us an example. This gives us a clue as to what Rahu is. Ego, all head, very heady. Me. What about me? And Ketu, another one who is a tail, always stuck in the past, always wanting, always feeling victimized. Oh, poor me, woe is me. Both of them are angry. One is angry. Rahu is always angry, and Ketu is resentful. So the eclipses are personified into these shadow planets which exemplify the shadow agents within the body-mind-sense complex. The ahankara that is aligned with self-ignorance is indeed the chaya, the shadow called Rahu and the shadow called Ketu. And what is this shadow? Maya, self-ignorance. And then what does it do? It makes the person asleep, fast asleep, to their own glory. Sadly, fast asleep to their own glory they are. Unfortunate but true. They are fast asleep to their own glory. They cannot but be there, and they cannot but wail, rave and rant because they don't know anything better. That is why the guha is dark. Guha means the heart. Inner guha, cave-like. And when you look at a cave, from outside it is scary. You don't want to go sit in it. Stalactites of despair, stalagmites of disenchantment, bats of doubt flying around inside. And it is leaking some waters of dejection, depression. And a growl is heard. And if you shine the light, a pair of eyes reflect and then they are gone. Intractable emotions like anger, raga, dvesha, wild animals lurk within. No wonder I don't want to be connected to myself. This is so frightening. I hate being alone. That's why I want to distract myself by all the things that are there in the universe, day and night. Like the groundhog in America, which is afraid of its shadow. When? Whoever said March, come and see me after class. So, February 2nd. And the groundhog can be excused because it is afraid of its shadow only once a year. What about the jivas? Afraid all the time of the shadow. That's why it is called guha. The Upanishad is so tender. It goes along with our self-ignorance. It goes along with the self-ignorance of the Shishya and then takes the person where they are. Really speaking, what guha? What can hide the self-effulgent eye? But this is experiential. It's experienced as something I cannot handle. I cannot sit still with myself for 10 minutes alone without, the fingers or the thumbs doing something. Some scrolling, and if you see these young ones type, I get scared because I just wonder how quickly they can do that. So, all these things, because it fills up that which you do not want to look at, that which you have taken to be real but is actually non-existent. This is samsara. Taking that which is non-existent to be real, that alone is samsara. There is no stalactite, much less stalagmite. There is nothing. There is only your own glory. There is no trickling waters and tears of dejection. There are no wild animals. But that is the perception. The perception is, I am caught by all these things. I am kind of afraid of myself. I cannot be with the self that I think I am. Lonely, dejected, angry, resentful, fearful, guilty, and hurt. There is self-loath. And the Upanishad says, uncover that eclipse. Let that eclipse pass. And then you will, the one who knows this Brahman, when that eclipse is driven away, what obtains in that cave is Brahman. And what is this Brahman? Really very interesting derivation. Briha dhatu, brihi. Brihi vriddhau, that which is limitlessly huge and big. Limitlessly huge and big. It doesn't say how big. Because if, the word big is relative. When I say big, you want me to tell you big like what? What am I looking for? If I say look for a big mustard seed, that's very different from saying look for a big mountain. But here, purposefully, there is no size specified on this bigness. Brih plus manin. Manin is the suffix Brahman. Limitlessly big. So when this limitlessly big, whatever that is, called Satyam Jnanam Anantam, also known as I, is understood in the cave of the heart, then wonderful things happen. And the Upanishad talks about what happens. But first, this cave of the heart is one more note about the cave of the heart. This guha nihitatvam means this whole thing about Ishvara residing in the cave of the heart is what is enacted in every traditional Hindu temple. Traditional, meaning no source of electric light. You go through various doorways. These are all the various places of error that you cross. I think I am the body, that is the first doorway. You cross through that. I think I am the prana, doorway marked 2, you cross that. I think I am the, what else is there? I am the karta. I think I am the bhokta. These doorways you go through. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. I think I am the mind, third doorway. I think I am the agent of action, Vijnanamaya. And then finally Anandamaya, not to be confused with Ananda. Anandamaya means I am addicted to defining myself as the what? As the experiencer. Of what? Karma phala, of course, the results of action. These are the doorways one goes through. That's why the traditional temples have many, many courtyards and doorways. And these temples are very crowded because there's a lot of power. You don't have to enter them at all. People behind you, make sure you enter the final doorway. And then you have to get adjusted to the light because there is none. You kind of blink. And then there is another doorway that you are not allowed to enter for purity's sake. It's kept just very restricted. But you can see through that. It's open. See what? There is nothing to see. It is pitch dark. And here you are in front of Madurai Meenakshi temple, goddess Meenakshi. You don't know what she looks like. You don't know what she's wearing. There's a small little lamp flickering there. Enough to show that there is something, but we don't know what that thing is. In fact, there is the goddess, there is the little lamp, and then what? The priest, all of them are there. But the walls of the sanctorum are black granite. And the Devi, what is she made of? Black granite. The Pujari being from South India, not made of granite, but definitely dark. You don't see him either. Poor fellow is alive, but dark. You don't see him either. But he's there. Goddess is also there. And then the mantras are chanted. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Mantra is chanted. There the sun does not shine, what to talk of moon and stars. And this little light I dare to offer you. That light which I think is revealing you is actually revealing me and my own glory. It's a camphor light. Even though now in America, after people have emigrated here, it is tea light, no longer camphor light. Because anybody who has had a little experience with camphor, they don't want it anymore because it somehow has a kind of a effect of darkening the surroundings. But traditionally it is camphor. Because the camphor burns through completely without leaving a residue, unlike wax or any other source of, even oil lamp will leave a little bit of oil at the end. It will not burn fully. There will be a little moist dampness. Wax will leave some residue. But the camphor burns without leaving any residue. That camphor light is the light of the Shastra. And the one who is showing it, he stands for the Guru, who is revealing the inner Ishvara within, so to speak. So there the sun does not shine. Oh, must be a dark place. What about a little romantic moonlight? Neither the moon nor the stars. What to talk of lightning? What to talk of this little lamp? But that which is revealed in whose light is the light because of which everything is revealed. The self-effulgent I is one that is revealed free of all the entrapments of the fears and tears of everything. This is just wonderful. This is what is called Guha Nihitatvam. And that Guha is rehabilitated. It is no longer some kind of a scary place that I am afraid to visit because I'll be frightened by the shadow self that says boo even when it is not Halloween. That is why this is where the centrality of the teacher comes in. The teacher is the one that shows the light of the Shastra, that lights up the Shastra and shows the Shastra, removes ignorance completely without a trace. So, back to the Vakya, we just chanted, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam, the one who knows in the heart, in the cave of the heart. Now you understand cave of the heart, yes? Yeah. And what is this cave of the heart? Parame Vyoman. The cave of the heart is no longer the cave of the heart. There is no heart, there is no cave. It is just, it is that all-pervasive presence. When I know myself, who I have up till now experienced as someone trapped in this body-mind-sense complex, as that all-pervasive awareness, consciousness, that lights up everything, that lights up itself, that lends its being and its presence to everything without ever coming to an end, that is when I can call myself Brahmavit, says the Upanishad. Parame Vyoman. And then this, as though this introduction is not jarring enough, is not big enough, the Upanishad has more to say. Because being a jiva, the question can come in the mind. And what is the question? Big deal. This is the jaded, faded jiva talking. Has made a decision never to be surprised, never to be in a place of wonder, never to appreciate anything. Why? Because I don't want to be disappointed. So even if Bhagavan flies by, I'll say, okay. No big deal. Everything is no big deal because the ninja jiva is saving itself from disappointment. Rocking back and forth. I can't handle disappointment. And so what are you going to do? I am going to train myself to never ever be surprised by anything, to never ever want anything, to never ever be in awe, to never ever do anything at all. So that opportunities go by, my own glory is revealed to me. It's all the same, more of the same. Big deal, big deal. I am not surprised. I refuse to be surprised. And so such a jiva might have a question. What is the question? Big deal. So there is this thing called Brahman. B for Brahman, A for Atma. I already told you. Been there, done that. And so B for Brahman, big deal. इससे मुझे क्या मिलेगा? What will I get out of it? Okay, so I know Brahman. Okay, I come and find a guru. Okay, I come and study with you and find out there is such a thing as Brahman and it's not away from me. What will I get out of this? This is something which is a valid question. The raw material for the question is self-ignorance. The question has been woven with the thread of self-ignorance, no doubt, but it is still a valid question from the standpoint of the Upanishad. Because the Upanishad does not want you to stop there. The Upanishad wants to continue, for you to continue to study. So it gives a reason why to know this Brahman. It gives a reason. And what is this reason? The reason is Saha Ashnute. Ashnute means experiences, enjoys, eats. Saha means Kaha, the one who knows. The one who knows Brahman as oneself, Ashnute, enjoys. What does the person enjoy? Sarvan Kaman. Yugapat Samashnute. Samyak Ashnute. Enjoys all the desires in one fell swoop, in one go. Now, if you have a desire for chaat, does everybody know what chaat is? Some kind of, a confused medley of sweet, sour, spicy, salty tastes, which somehow tastes good. Okay, and this is, so you'll have all these things and then some kind of layers, and it's also confused because some parts are crunchy and some parts are soft, and it can never make up its mind what it is, but somehow it presents itself as something delicious. So you have a desire for chaat, and then you have a desire for ice cream. Can you have them together? Eek. That's all I have to say. Yikes. Each one is nice, but you can't mix tamarind sauce with ice cream, okay? I'm sorry, no matter how eclectic your taste. Now, if anybody likes tamarind sauce as a topping on the ice cream, we will never know. Yeah. I have made sure of that. Nobody will come out and say, I am one of them. But the whole idea is ridiculous. Chilli sauce on ice cream, tamarind sauce on ice cream. You can't do that. But yet you like ice cream and you like chaats. But then you can only have it one after the other. This is how the wish fulfillment in our life is. Ek ke baad ek. One after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. That's why one wants to live forever. That's why there is such a thing called bucket list. Whatever I couldn't finish, I want to do before I die. And on top of the list for this 85-year-old is bungee cord jumping. Ayyo, why? But this is how it is. Because one is frustrated, one has so many desires. I want everything to be fulfilled at one go, and here I have to wait, trickle down, one another, in time, in space, and then I have to wait for the food I have eaten to digest, another limitation, before I can have the next meal. If I'm too full, I can't immediately eat it. I can't immediately enjoy it. And so therefore, what to do? How does the Upanishad, when this is our experiential reality, when our experiential everyday reality is to enjoy one thing at one time, how does the Upanishad have the alacrity to say that all your desires, every single desire you ever had, you didn't even know you had, are all fulfilled in one stroke upon knowing Brahman? How does it have that temerity to say that? We'll find out in the evening class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.